Well, the instant preview segments continue from Madison Square Garden. Segment number 41, as both myself, Jaden, Daly, and Kevin Connelly preview UConn and Providence right here from the Garden floor inside the world's most famous arena. Jaden, let's start with you. UConn, Providence, a lot of good things to look forward to. First things first, the crowd is going to go bongos.
Absolutely. You're expecting a capacity sellout crowd here, Joe. Both teams always travel well, especially here at the Garden. And with so much at stake, Providence and UConn both looking to book a trip to the Big East semifinals. For the Friars, a chance to bolster an NCAA tournament resume that may be on shaky ground in the eyes of some. The Friars do have a very favorable standing on the bubble, but do need one more win to really solidify them and push them over the hump. A win against the Huskies, ranked 11th in the country, will definitely go a long way on Selection Sunday.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And Kev, obviously we spoke about yesterday with the whole Seton Hall game, how Seton Hall blew out Providence on senior night up at the Amp. But again, this is a different-looking Providence team than we saw in the beginning of the season. But UConn, when they kind of hit their, they hit their stride, then they really came tumbling down. We're seeing that now with Providence, but UConn now going the complete opposite direction. And it's going to be fun here inside Stores South, as they call it. But, again, looking at the UConn side of things, though, what do you see that you like with them?
Well, this is the Connecticut team that we saw in November and December that got out to that incredible start and was nearly ranked the #1 team in the country. They're back to that form right now, and we've seen that with their most recent road victory over Villanova. We saw that right here on this very floor when they beat St. John's. We've seen it over the past couple of weeks now. Ever since that calendar turned from January to February, this team turned that page as well. And that's what Dan Early had been talking about. He was saying, thank God that January is over, that we put in January in our rearview mirror, and they've gone full steam ahead. And they're the 4 seed here in this tournament, but they very well might be the favorites to cut down the nets on Saturday night.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And also, of course, they're led by Adama Sanogo. But in addition to that, Kevin, Jordan Hawkins has been absolutely dominant this season. He was actually just recently named to the finalist award for the Jerry West Award.
Yeah, Jordan Hawkins, one of my favorite players to watch in the country. My first time I got my 2 eyes on him was up in Hartford when St. John's took down Connecticut, and he had 31 in that game. And the way he started that game was something like I really haven't seen before. I mean, whether St. John's was guarding him, not guarding him, he was doing it off the dribble, he was doing it in the corners, he was doing it everywhere. Jordan Hawkins is a fantastic player for this UConn team. And when I was up there, I was talking to somebody who said, he's probably the best shooter that Connecticut's had since Ray Allen. And when I got my 2 eyes on him, I was like, yeah, I can't really refute you on that. He probably will be a lottery pick for how good he can shoot the ball this year.
High praise, especially for Jordan Hawkins. But Jaden, looking now to Ed Cooley's squad, we spoke about just a few moments ago how Providence is trending downward. But you look at that team, though, in depth. Ed Croswell, Bryce Hopkins, Jared Bynum. Those 3 are really the big-headed, the 3-headed monster for this Providence Friars team. But, again, they're heading in the wrong direction. Do you see them potentially changing course here this afternoon?
It's very possible, Joe. Providence has always managed to get up, so to speak, for games at Madison Square Garden. I don't know if it's something in the water here or if Ed Cooley just motivates his guys differently, but something always changes. There's a different mystique about the Friars when Providence comes to play in this building. Add UConn into the mix, and the stakes that are already on the line with today's game, and you'll see Bryce Hopkins, Jared Bynum, Ed Croswell, and even Clifton Moore off the bench, who doesn't get talked about very much, but is just as much a factor. In Devin Carter, a lockdown defender, who will probably draw an assignment on Jordan Hawkins or Andre Jackson. This is going to be a nip-and-tuck battle here later on this afternoon.
Yeah, and the cool thing also with Devin Carter, too, at one point, guys, you remember, he was originally with University of South Carolina with Frank Martin, and then after Frank Martin got the axe down in South Carolina and he went to UMass, Devin Carter, because of the close relationship with Ed Cooley, he went to Providence. So look at that, right? Guys, let's conclude this segment here. What do we have in this one here? We've got UConn Providence 2:30 FS1. What's your prediction, Kevin?
Well, much to Jaden's point, how Providence has pulled off upsets in this very building in this very week. We also got to look at Ed Cooley. He's done damage as an underdog in his career. However, I just think UConn's playing too well right now, and I think the Huskies win and punch their ticket to the semifinals.
Jaden, for you.
I'll go with UConn in overtime.
Oh!
By 3.
Overtime. Overtime is what Jaden is predicting. Now, that would be something. And, of course, folks, we had on a few moments ago, we had Ben Steele with us. Unfortunately, Jaden was unable to get with us. Kevin was with us also. So that game starts in about an hour time, 12 p.m. FS1. Then 2:30, it's UConn Providence. And then we've got that short intermission before Xavier and DePaul kicks things off for session 3. Then right after the nightcap is Villanova Creighton. Kevin, Jaden, myself, we will have more coverage with you from Madison Square Garden from the floor. Back in a few short moments here on the Eastern Observer from the world's most famous arena.